Hello everyone, I am Rinki and welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to tell you a story. I am going to tell you a story about Snow White. So I am going to tell you a story about Snow White. So let's begin. So once upon a time there was a girl. Once upon a time there was a girl whose name was Snow White. Whose name was Snow White. She was very beautiful. She was very beautiful. She was very pretty. She had a very black hair. She had black hair. She has beautiful big eyes, and she has lips, red lips, and she was very fair. She was very fair, very beautiful. So she was there, and she lived with her stepmother. She lived with her stepmother. But the stepmother was very jealous of her. She was jealous of her because she was very pretty. So the stepmother was very jealous of her. Stepmother, she had a mirror. Stepmother had a mirror. And every day the stepmother would ask the mirror, mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? So the mirror would say, you, my queen, you. So every time the mirror answered, it's you. You are the fairest. But one day the mirror says, Snow White is the fairest. So the mirror answered, Snow White. Snow White is the fairest. So the stepmother becomes very angry. She becomes very angry. So she tells one hunter, to take her into the forest, to take Snow White into the forest and kill her. So she wants the hunter to take Snow White into the forest and kill her. But the hunter could not do that. So hunter takes her into the forest, but he could not kill Snow White. So he asks Snow White to run into the forest. He says, go, run away. Otherwise, your stepmother would kill you. So go away, go, run away. So she runs, and she goes inside the forest. When she goes inside, she found a small cottage. She finds a small cottage where seven dwarfs lived. So there were 7 dwarfs. So 7 dwarfs lived in this small cottage. So she goes inside, and when the dwarfs see the Snow White, they were kind to her and they asked her to stay with them. So Snow White stays with the dwarfs in the cottage. So one day again the stepmother asked again, mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? So the mirror says, Snow White. So she gets very angry again and she says, now this time I am only going to find Snow White and I'm only going to kill her. So she goes into the forest. She comes as an old woman. And she brings one very good looking apple. She brings one bright red apple, and she gives it to Snow White. And when Snow White takes one bite of that apple, she goes into deep sleep. She goes into deep sleep. So when the dwarf see that the Snow White is sleeping and she is not waking up, they become very sad. They become very sad and they cry for her. But she does not wake up. She does not wake up. So the dwarfs, they put her into a glass coffin. So they put her into a glass coffin. This is made up of glass coffin. So one day a prince comes into the forest. One day a prince comes into a forest, and when he is walking, he see that there is a coffin in which Snow White is there. So when he sees the Snow White, he gives her a kiss. So he gives her a kiss and the Snow White wakes up. So the Snow White wakes up. And then the king, the prince and the Snow White, they get married. They get married and they lived happily after. So that was the story about Snow White. I hope you liked today's story. Let's see you in another session. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.